This is section 3.10 on relations. Okay, now a relation is a set of ordered pairs. A function is a relation with different domains or different domain values. Basically, it means all of your x's must be different. And we're going to start looking at slope a little differently as change in f of x over change in x. Now this is different. That is from actually section 3.9. Now go on to 3.10. We are going to do this example. And we have 1, 2, this is ordered pairs, so it's a relation. And what we want to find out is it a function? But first let's name our domain. Okay, domain 1, 2, 3, 4. And the range is all the values of y, and there's only two, it's 1 and 2. Okay, now let's look at this. Is this a function? Does each point have a different x value? Yes, it does. How do I know? There are 4 points and 4 points in your domain, so it's yes. Now, let's look at the next example. Okay, now, looking at my domain, I have a repeat right here and right here with my 2's. My domain is 2, 3, and 4. My range is all my y values, no repeats this time. Put them in order numerically. There we go. Now, is this a function? It is not. And the reason is that each x value does not have its own different value. So, no, it is not. Okay, now if you're looking at a graph, trying to identify whether something is a function or not, we want to look at the vertical line test. Right here is my graph. Now, the vertical line test says that a vertical line can touch a function only once. Once and only once. Okay, so if I'm using this as my graph, any vertical line would only touch this graph one time. So that is a yes, it is a function. Now about this one right here, this vertical line, or this graph, is touched twice by a vertical line. That y-axis is a vertical line. Touches twice there, so this is not a function. Okay, now, if you have this relation defined by absolute value of x is equal to absolute value of y, and the absolute value of x is less than or equal to 1, this is on the note sheet, we're also assuming that x and y are integers. So I want to find the domain. Now, you learned about absolute values, that if you have an absolute value that's less than or equal to a number, you're going to put the variable between the positives and negatives. So your domain is all the integers between and including -1 and 1. So your domain would be -1, 0, and 1. Now, but the same thing is true for y because it's all of them. But here's the thing. If x is -1, what can y be? That means the absolute value of y is equal to +1. So y can be -1. It can also be +1. If x is 0, y is 0. And then the same thing happens again with +1 for x. So when you graph it, you end up with something like this. You have the 0, 0 right there. And then you have this point, this point, this point, and this point, which fails the vertical line test because it touches twice if a vertical line was sat on top of it. And so that answer is no, it's not a function. And that is what you need to finish this section.